What's shaking, cocktail fans? I'm Modern Bar Cart CEO Eric Kozlik. It's my job to hit the road and seek out the best and brightest minds in the spirits and cocktail world so that I can share their secrets with you. This time around, I sit down with Joey Fox of Old Westminster Winery in Westminster, Maryland. He's a certified sommelier and he's incredibly passionate about the world of natural wine. In this video series, we discuss what natural wine is, what makes it so special, and what terms you need to know to be fluent in the language of natural wine. And of course, we taste a few interesting expressions along the way. Enjoy. And we're back. So, terms in the natural wine space are very important because I think all of these major wine trends have kind of certain terms associated with them, and we just kind of accept that as, you know, we learn these terms. We learn things like left bank, right bank when talking about Merlot. We learn things like, you know, the different fermentation methods in the champagne world, for example. But natural wine has its own set of terms that are really important, and I think they're way, way, way less known, obviously. So I wanted to go through some of them here. And one that you just mentioned is skin contact. So as we get into a few terms, what the heck does skin contact mean? It sounds lovely. It sounds like it sounds like you're just cuddling with someone.
Yeah, it's basically the wine version of cuddling. So skin contact is something that's prevalent in all red wines, or else you'd have a rosé. It is where you crush the grapes, and the juice and the skins have a extended period of maceration. So you get flavors, colors, tannins, more things are being extracted from the skins. Normally a white wine is pressed and the juice is extracted away from the skins. But an orange wine is a white wine that spends time with its skins, gaining color. So you can have a really light, just a hint of orange in an orange wine, to the really traditional stuff that's been made in Georgia, the country of Georgia, for thousands of years, where they spend almost a year in, they call them qvevri, they're large clay pots that they've been making wine in. They bury them underground, and that was old school temperature control for them.
Yeah, and it does make sense, right?
Yeah.
It's an easy way to do it. So skin, so this is interesting too. And this definitely is right on with our theme of not really innovating, but basically like taking things that are traditionally not done in Western winemaking, right? The Bordeaux, Burgundy, kind of South Africa, Australia, South America style of winemaking in these really established, well-worn regions. If you're making white wine, you're not putting the skins on it.
Yep.
And yet here we are putting the skins in. So you just mentioned orange wine, and we've got one of those to check out. Do you want to pour it and give it a little time to open up in the glasses here while we finish up our Franc Fizz?
Yeah, so this is called Seeds and Skins. This is a 100% Pinot Gris.
Also known as Pinot Grigio if you're in Italia.
Same grape.
This
spends only 2 days on skins.
Wow, and you can definitely still see quite an influence.
Yes, so it's funny, so many people drink Pinot Grigio or Pinot Gris, but they've never seen what it looks like. I'd recommend everyone just hop on Google real quick and take a look. Pinot Grigio, if you were unfamiliar, it looks like a red grape. You would never know that it's genetically a white grape by looking at it.
Right. And I mean, the same goes for something like Pinot Noir, which is a grape that has a red skin. But what most people don't know is that Pinot Noir is commonly used in champagne, which is a white wine.
Yep.
So, if you've ever seen the term Blanc de Noir, that means that there's both the Chardonnay grape, the Blanc, the white grape. It is a white grape on the vine, but the Pinot Noir is a red grape on the vine. So this would be a perfect kind of comparison. Like if we were to have, a Pinot Noir orange wine, that would be an example where they left the skins in there, right?
So that would actually just be a red wine. So skin contact for any red grapes is kind of the traditional, the traditional processing. But you could do I guess the kind of opposite of orange wine is rosé, something that everyone's very familiar with, which is where you take the red grapes and then you treat them like traditionally like a white grape, where you crush the juice immediately and separate the skins.
I see.
So you could get a very light rosé. Something like Pinot Noir is so light with its pigments that you could actually make a white wine out of Pinot Noir.
Wow. Yeah. And again, like, this is why we're sitting here talking about this, because you would never think to do that. It's like the whole natural wine movement is like this constant series of revelations to me, and they're not even like revelations in the paradigm shifting sense. It's like, yeah, people have been doing this in Georgia for thousands of years.
Yeah.
This is not new stuff, which is why it's so exciting to me, because I feel like I'm uncovering a part of my palate and a part of my like culinary experience that has just been kind of like covered up by vines and stuff. I feel like I'm uncovering like a ruin right now. It's always been there.
Yeah.
It's just never known about it.
You just kind of have to move the vines out of the way and
yeah. So
jump in.
What do we expect here from an orange wine in this style?
Yeah, so a little less. It'll definitely have that citrusiness that you expect from Pinot Gris, but this time I feel like the stone fruit might be a little more amplified from that extended contact.
Yeah, I definitely get some like creamy apricot on the nose.
Yeah, almost verging into tropical territory, like light tropical.
I could see like a candied pineapple almost.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing, the weird thing about candied pineapple as a tasting note is that candied pineapple to me is less sweet than regular pineapple because it's dried.
Yeah.
Like you're taking away some of the juiciness of it. Yeah, and so I could totally see that as like blurring into that stone fruit spectrum. This is a really compelling nose, and it reminds me, I'll come out and say it. I won't touch Pinot Grigio on the shelf.
Yeah.
It's generally a garbage wine to me.
Yeah, a lot of that part of the world it's a sea of Pinot Grigio, and none of it is farmed meticulously. It's just a product that needs to hit the bottom line pricing for someone that just take home on a Wednesday that doesn't really care what they're drinking.
It's cougar juice.
Yes.
Yeah. And this, man, I'm perfectly content just smelling this, and I'm almost starting to get some almost meaty notes from it.
Yeah, some smokiness.
Yeah, because if you think about Pinot Noir, this is a great example of a quality in a wine that when it's made at a really low quality is a really bad thing.
Yeah.
But when you treat it really intentionally, and when you really think about how you want to present this and do it without preservatives, you can get this really wonderful expression. So let me break that down for folks. I just said that this has sort of like a meaty note. What does that mean? There's no meat in this glass. And we were just talking about things like stone fruit and pineapple. Those aren't even remotely meaty. So what do I mean when I'm saying this? What I mean is that in the worst possible version of Pinot Grigio, when I smell it, it smells like I'm smelling bleach. It smells very basic in terms of acid base. And yet when you taste it, it tends to be a high acidity wine. Mm-hmm. Another flavor or aroma that can do that sometimes is cardamom. If you just stick your face in a bag full of cardamom, it can smell like ammonia, which is kind of in that bleachy ammonia cleaner spectrum. But this has a very subtle basicness to it that I think, may be part of the skin contact here, that it's lending this note which is typically present in really bad Pinot Gris or Pinot Grigio wine, but here it just gives it that slight meaty or smoky quality that I think you get. And I think, that's a way to walk up to a grape and say, listen, man, I know you're usually treated poorly, but we're going to treat you well and see what you can do. It's kind of like, to me, it's a bit of a redemption story for the Pinot Gris.
Yeah.
And I love it. I have not even taken a sip. I just love smelling it because it's so compelling. It's got these weird fruity notes that you usually don't see in conjunction. And then it's got this slight kind of savory quality, little bit. It reminds me of almost like not pancetta, like prosciutto.
Yeah.
Like a prosciutto wrapped melon, right? We're talking about
just about to say, I'm getting a nice meloniness, like creamy, almost papaya.
Yeah.
Like creamy papaya.
Yeah, absolutely. and we're in Maryland right now, Pawpaw,
Yeah.
right? Mm-hmm. Got the gents over at Baltimore Spirits Company making their Pechuga-style smoked apple brandy using Pawpaws, and you're right.
Local mezcal.
Yeah. Can't
Is that protected? Can you call it that?
No, they can't call it that for sure. But yeah, man, is it special. All right, I'm going to taste it now. I got it.
Yeah, it's great. The texture on this, man.
Wow. And you can't see any carbonation, but you can taste it. You can taste
Just
a little bit. Yeah.
Just a touch.
And wow. Yeah, and it's funny too. Like I don't know if you've ever seen those scalp stimulators. It's like a little thing and it goes like basically like this. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I feel like that happens to my tongue when I taste this wine. It's a very gentle stimulation. It doesn't feel like I'm taking like a big swig of like super bubbly water, like a Topo Chico. You ever have that where it's like, well, it feels like your mouth is like, you've got like pop rocks in there.
You should try the Singa water. Have you had theirs?
No.
Oh man, that's like twice as carbonated as Topo.
It's crazy, right? So it's nothing like that. It's like as far from that as you can possibly get, but I feel still like it's almost like it's exciting and stimulating the palate, but almost like below your consciousness.
Yeah, it's like a waltz of bubbles on your tongue.
Wow. This is so cool. And so for folks watching and listening, I deliberately came in here without doing any research on this, which is usually not what I like to do. I usually like to be able to steer the conversation very carefully, but I knew that this was such an unknown continent to me that I wanted to have some of the surprise here be legitimate so that you can like follow along with me and see what is actually exciting about this. And to me, something like this, where it's a varietal that I've traditionally hated.